Hi, I'm Kristina Savka, and I'm a signature styling strategist. People ask me all the time, what is personal brand and how do I get my personal style? Well, let me tell you, it all started a long time ago with my love of fashion. I learnt about style simply by reading magazines, watching people that had gone before me, movie stars. The silver screen was like my favourite thing to watch. And I realised that these starlets had poise, a poise that I wanted to emulate, a kind of grace when they walked and when they spoke, how they did their hair, their makeup, everything about them seemed so well put together, and I fell in love with style. So fashion was a big part of my life because I used it to, find out who I am in my teens and also fit in. But as I started to get to know myself a little bit better, style became even more important. It meant that I wanted to be an individual. I wanted to be different from other people. I wanted to have something unique. I wanted to style my hair differently. I wanted to complement my skin, my makeup. Everything about me had to suit me. And so over the decades, I have learned how to put myself together in an amazing package where people question my age, how do I do it, and how do I pull it off? So this is what I teach. So people often ask me, why do I need a signature style? My answer is always really simple. You need to stand out from the crowd. People need to know and see the real you. Yes, sure, you can use fashion and fumble along, but having strategy and actually having someone that knows how to put you together, understands your brand, your business, that is invaluable. I go in and I basically have a look at everything that you do. I look at your lifestyle, your business, your branding, your message, and everything must match. So the way you present yourself and who you are and how you sound, even down to your voice, everything about you has to be branded, not just your clothes. And this is what signature styling is all about. I also have a look at your diet, your fitness, your regimes, your lifestyle, everything about you. There is nothing that goes missed. So personal style and image branding is all about strategy.
I feel like the video did my job for me. The next person I'd like to invite up is Kristina. She is a signature brand stylist, just like the video said, a camera confidence coach, a speaker, an author, a TV host, and a fashion designer. A true multidisciplinary artist. A style icon herself, Kristina draws on her vast life experience to motivate and empower her clients and audiences by sharing more than 3 decades of advice and wisdom working within the creative industries. Through tailored education, mentoring, and support, Kristina paves the way to elevate your style, empower your presence, and ultimately amplify your impact to present well in life and in business. Please give a warm welcome to Kristina.
Can you feel the energy in the house tonight? Oh, I love this energy. I have been in a creative energy, gosh, for the last 50 years. I was born into it. It just makes me so excited. Recently, I had been a fashion trainer at the Academy of Design, a very prestigious fashion house. And every day I would go to teach and work alongside some of Australia's most creative students. And when I'd come home, I would be buzzing for hours. Creative energy is so powerful. Can you imagine what it would have felt like to have been there at the beginning of time when God himself was in that full creative force creating everything? It would have just been magic. Put your hands up if you know what this is. That's right. Did anyone say zipper? It is a zipper. Have a guess where this can be found on men's clothing. Right at the front, because, men are simple creatures and they're very practical. I should know, I'm raising 3 boys. Have a guess where this can be found on women's clothing. Let's just say it's a bit complicated. The more intense the design, we could just about put this anywhere. And I should know. Tonight, I want to talk about mental health because over the last 10 years, I have been serving the Australian public and I started to notice a pattern. So I'm going to focus on the impact that your mental health has on your confidence and your style. You see, the art of self-image is actually the art and the practice of being fully self-expressed. Most of us don't know that, haven't even arrived there yet. As you know, I am Kristina Savka. These days, I go by the title of Signature Style Strategist. But I fused together over 35 years of knowledge of being a fashion designer, a stylist, a fashion trainer, hairstylist, makeup artist, model, TV host, you name it, I've just about done it all in the creative industry. Some would call me a veteran of the creative arts. I fuse all of that together for my clients today, these days, and I teach them how to elevate their style. I also teach them how to empower their presence because let's face it, your outfit will only get you so far. As you step into the room, what precedes you is your presence. You can always tell when someone's confident and when they're not. And if you can figure out your unique signature style that is perfect for you, and you work on your presence, you can only ever amplify your impact. Who wants to make impact? Yeah. But it all started a very long time ago. I remember being a young 17-year-old and seeing this billboard sign. Yes, that's how old I am, a billboard sign. And it said, study fashion. I thought, yes, that's what I'm going to do. And I chose fashion for all the wrong reasons. More on that later. One of the highlights from my early days in my career, we're talking early 90s now, I got snapped up by the Australian Fashion Group in Sydney. And the cool thing was we made ranges, seasonal fashion ranges for all the retail stores in Australia. I'm talking the big chain stores that you see in Westfields. It was so much fun. I'd rush down every week down to the news agency because, you know, it was before the digital age. And I would buy the latest gossip magazines, New Idea, Woman's Weekly, you name it. I would buy it, I would scour those pages and I would see which one of my designs was going to be in there because I knew one of those retailers would put together a photo shoot and the models would have the designs and it was exhilarating. And sometimes I would see people in the street and I'd go, oh, there's one of my designs, there's one of my designs, and it was so much fun. But as I started to mature and grow up, I no longer just wanted to dress the Australian public. I wanted to make greater impact. Yeah? Much deeper impact. And there had to be a way to reach them. Well, 2 years ago, just before my 50th birthday, I had been listening to my clients, colleagues, friends, over a very long time, saying, how does she pull that off? Why does she look like that? How come she's never fat? How come this? How come that? And I thought, well, if I'm going to make impact and reach people, I can't be sitting on a pedestal. I have to start becoming more transparent. I have to literally become real. So I decided, especially through coaching and mentoring, when you want to relate to your clients, you use your story. And so what I did, I pulled back the curtains and I revealed what it took to become me. In this collaborative body of work with 15 other authors, we created Inspiring Women Today, and I share the back end of what it's taken, the tragedies, the heartaches, the good and the bad, and the seriously ugly. So tonight, I want to talk about mental health because it is so important today. If your mental health isn't strong, you will not be able to stand, walk, perform, and do things in life confidently. And by style, I mean your personal style, who you say you are, because clothes are just a cover-up. Have you ever had this experience? You get this invitation, right? Maybe it's a job interview. Maybe it's a wedding or a party or something important, and you know you need to show up. So you go to your wardrobe, you open it up. Now, a couple of things can happen. Wardrobe overwhelm. Oh my goodness, what am I going to wear? Or it could be, I've got a trusted go-to outfit. It's worked before. It'll be fine. You look in the mirror, you check yourself out. Good, I'm cool, I'm done, everything's fine. You go off to the event. The door's open, you step in. And all of a sudden, I'm overdressed. Or maybe you say, I'm underdressed, and you start to feel a bit uncomfortable. What happened? What changed? How did you go from this, pumped, I'm good, to suddenly this? Could it be? Research tells us that as humanity, we suffer from feelings of not being good enough. You know how it goes. Someone makes a comment, a criticism, makes you feel bad. You don't feel so good. I can remember being caught in two worlds. One of my parents would say, "Who do you think you are, Miss High Almighty Princess? You're never going to make it in this world." And the other parent would say, "You're amazing. You're a rock star. You can do anything." And I was like, who do I believe? I don't know who to believe. And science tells us we usually tend to believe the negative. So as I stood here and I thought, well, if they say it, maybe I'm not good enough. Why? What's wrong with me? There are two factors. There's the internal and the external. Now, we know what the external feels like. They say something about you. What do you have to wear that for? Do you have to do your hair like that? You know that's just not going to fit in. And on it goes. I hear it from my clients all the time. Self-sabotaging things that you say to yourself, what others say. And then those things that people say, they get to turn into the internal. No longer do you hear their voices, but you hear your own voice starting to sound like them. Now, the thing about self-talk, this is really interesting, is that self-talk is powerful because it runs on facts. This is how it sounds. They said you were no good, so you're no good. But well, you know, they said you're wearing the wrong dress and it's the wrong thing and whatever they say. And you start to believe that self-talk. And it just gets louder over time. Well, I have found a way to shut down that self-talk. Because if the self-talk is focusing on facts, you can't deny they said it. They feel that way, they criticise me, they talk behind my back. Here is what I have found. When you change the dialogue and you say this, what if I created something else? What if I believed that I could be that, or I could do this, and all of a sudden, what, you've got nothing to say? You see? There's no facts because the what if means it hasn't happened yet. I am just creating the possibility. No longer am I listening to what they said or my self-talk. I am back in the driver's seat. It's a pretty powerful place to be. Now, I have found that people often ask, who am I? What am I here for? What's my purpose? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? And I've found that when you look at humanity and you look at this level, I find it's easy to get lost. People always tell you who they think you are. But I have found that as I raise my eyes and change the question, whose am I can really start to see that there is a possibility that I could be more than what they say. Because when I realize whose I am the child of the Most High, and there is nothing greater than that. Nothing can penetrate that connection. The secret, you see, is that there is no competition being you. I can remember as a young teenager, and I'd get my first pay packet. What do you think I would go and buy? A fashion magazine, of course. And I'd pore over that magazine, and I would see the models, the poses, the hair, the makeup, you name it. And I just wanted to be like them, because if I was like them, maybe I'd be accepted, and maybe I'd fit in. What I didn't realize is that the more I desired to be them, I was becoming less of me. I didn't ask the right question, whose am I? I was just focused on who am I, and trying to create my identity in the who am I. Do you seek approval? We all do. But when you ask yourself that question, whose am I? You no longer need to be a victim of seeking approval. Because when you connect to the divine and you know that you are a child of the Most High, that is the only approval that you need. So tonight, I want to challenge you. It's time to rise. It's time to become more than you've ever been. It's time to identify with your highest power. It's time to start asking the bigger, more important questions. Who you become in the process of change will determine how you dress and show up. You see, when you start to get to know who you are and whose you are, you're going to start dressing differently. No longer will you be bound by fashion and the restrictions of trends. You're going to create your own style. Do I care what people think of what I'm wearing? I love green. Mightn't be your colour, but that's okay. I love sparkles. Heck, I've made it to the 5th decade. I can afford to wear the best things every day. So really, own your style. The journey starts tonight, because as an educator, I believe that you can't unlearn what you learn. Once you get taught something, it goes into your subconscious. Whether you use it or not, it's stored. And the journey starts tonight. You know when you drive a car into a driveway and there's a sensor light, right? It's just enough to illuminate the driveway. And then when you get out of the car, you've got the front door can be illuminated. And when you get inside the front door, you can flick on a switch, and then that gets illuminated. You don't need to know the full journey. Just start one step at a time. So there are 3 ways to get started. I always like to teach something. It's just me. And the first step is identify those limiting beliefs. You know what they are. They're the ones been holding you back. They're the ones been stopping you from going for whatever you wanted to go for. The ones when you said, I just haven't reached that level yet, or I'm just not that good enough just yet. I'm just going to wait. There is no waiting. There has never been a better time than tonight. And start asking the right questions. Because when you ask the right questions, you start going places. I remember just recently, my twin boys were having this dialogue, and I was walking past and I thought, something doesn't sound right here. And I could hear one twin saying to the other, "But why do you feel this way? I'm not that person anymore. I've changed." "No," the other one said, "you're still that person to me. I don't trust you." And I said, and he was getting so upset, but I'm trying really hard. I don't want to be that. And I said, "Hey, son, you're asking the wrong question. Because guess what? Your brother's opinion, it's none of your business." I gave him a little bit of attitude, and he went, "Yeah, try that on. Start asking different questions." And all of a sudden, he moved away from the situation, head held high, and he walked. He was no longer seeking approval, chasing to be needed and liked and to fit in. He had a sense of power that was starting to drive him in a different direction. I call it direction of success. Number 2, when you're on this journey, imagine this. When you do it alone, it's easy to get sidetracked. Imagine. Because one day you mightn't feel like it, and it's like, no one's watching, I'll just slide a day, maybe 2, maybe 3. Before you know it, months have gone past, maybe even years. So I say, get yourself a cheerleader. Everyone's got one. It's that friend that you know has your back. It's the friend that you know that you can ring up anytime. It's that friend that you know will always be there for you. When you have accountability, you can start sharing. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. And that as you speak it, you start giving it birth. And as you share it, you can start to understand how accountability will start to kick in. And the third one is, like any good journey, you need a plan. And I have found that the best place to start is self-love. Why would I start there? Because when my cup is full, I can let it overflow. Imagine someone coming up to you and going, "Hey, can you help me out?" And said, "What? I'm barely surviving myself. How can I be of value and service?" So fill your own cup and get a load of this. If anybody ever says, "You're so full of yourself," you know what? Start taking it as a compliment. I want to be full of myself. When I'm full of myself, I can give to others. Know where your worth comes from. Know where that worth comes from. And when you know where that worth comes from, you'll be so empowered. So empowered. And with empowerment comes success. Personal success. When you change your state of being, you can change your story of becoming the most powerful version of you. Let me say that again. When you change your state of being, who you have chosen to be up to today, you can change that negative story and then become the most powerful version of you. Start believing this. You are enough. I really want you to get that. There is no competition. You are enough. You know why? Because He's enough. Thank you.
Thank you.